Welcome to the Second Life video tutorial series. This video will introduce you to some basic principles of creating and using textures in Second Life, including optimization, uploading, and applying them to objects. When you set out to create textures for Second Life, you should consider two important things: size and optimization. Probably the biggest impact you can make on Second Life's performance is through smart design and optimization of textures. The first step in creating efficient textures is to make sure that they are the right size. A simple rule of thumb is to estimate the amount of screen space you expect them to occupy. In this example, I don't expect this object to fill more than about 25% of my screen, and knowing that my monitor's resolution is 1024 by 768, I can estimate that the texture for this object should be no larger than 512 by 384. Oftentimes you can reduce these values further while maintaining the texture's visual integrity, improving performance even more. Uploading textures to Second Life is a very simple procedure. Go to File on the menu bar and select Upload Image. Navigate to your texture, select it, and press Open. You'll get a confirmation window. Press Upload. When the upload is successful, you'll get a confirmation note and a preview from the server. You can find the texture in the Textures folder of your inventory. You can also upload multiple textures by following virtually the same procedure. Go to File and select Bulk Upload. Control-click each texture you want to include and press Open. They upload directly to the server, and you'll get a confirmation note and preview for each of the textures you've uploaded. You can find them in the Textures folder of your inventory. The texture editor contains all of the controls for managing and applying your textures. There are a couple of ways to access it. One is to right-click on the object you're working with, select Edit from the Pie menu, press More, and select the Textures tab. You can change texture attributes like color and transparency and the way your texture is applied to the object with offsets, number of repeats or tiling, and more. There are various ways to apply textures to objects, but for now we'll focus on just two of them. To apply a single texture to all sides of an object, simply click on the Texture Preview window and the Texture Picker opens. From there, navigate to the location of your texture in your inventory and then press Select. Alternately, you can search for a texture by entering its name in the field at the top. To apply a texture to only one side of an object, simply drag and drop the texture from your inventory onto the object. Using this method, you can apply unique textures to each side of an object. Continuing with the brick wall, you can see that I've applied the same brick texture to each side or face of this object. Now it's just a matter of getting the right number of repeats on each side so that the brick has the appropriate scale and ultimately the look I'm after. To do this, I will right-click on the object, select Edit from the Pie menu, and in my Textures tab, I'll go down to Repeats per Face. I can enter values directly, or I can use the spinner arrows for fine-tuning. Now, you can see that these values work well for this side, but they don't work well for the top, and they don't work well for this side here. To change those, I need to select each side or face individually. Right here is a control called Select Texture. When I press this, we see an overlay appear on the object showing me how the texture is repeating on each of its faces. It also gives me the ability to select individual faces. So I'm going to select the top and I'll rotate this texture 90 degrees. And let's enter a value of 1 for vertical tiling. I think that looks pretty good. On this side, let's change the horizontal tiling to 1 and deselect the object simply by closing the edit window. We'll zoom in a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Earlier in this tutorial, I mentioned that there were ways I might make my texture even smaller and thus increase performance even more. To that end, I have created a texture that's 128 by 128. It's a quarter the size of the texture I've already applied. Now I'll drag and drop that on. You can see that I clearly need to go in and readjust the repeats on this side. So let's do that. Press Select Texture, select this side, increase horizontal tiling to 8 and vertical tiling to 6. Now let's take a look. This is definitely more efficient on the simulator, but it's not exactly the look I'm after. I liked the variety of my original texture, so I'll reapply it to this face. I'll return to the Edit window to reestablish the correct repeat settings. Yep, that's the look I'm after right there. This video has introduced you to some considerations of size and optimization, uploading, and using the texture editor to apply and adjust texture parameters on your objects in Second Life. For more video tutorials and documentation, visit the knowledge base on the secondlife.com website.